I saw your car out there.
Figured where everything
I was
was.
about to come around and let
We
you
have
know.
3 citizens speaking, and then
Commissioners Court of Brazos County will meet in regular session on January the 7th, 2025, 10 a.m. Commissioners Courtroom, County Administration Building, 200 South Texas Avenue, Suite 106. First item on the agenda is identification and pledge of allegiance to the U.S. and Texas flag, and Commissioner Watson will lead those.
Heavenly Father, I ask that you bless us this day, that you give us the guidance that we can do the Commissioner's Court work in a way that is beneficial in your sight, such that we represent our citizens in a way that they need to be represented. I also ask that you bless those who are unhoused right now, who may be struggling with lack of heat, a lack of place to live. I hope that we as the county and other nonprofits will be able to provide resources and services for those, and that we as citizens and your children are recognized that there are times when people have needs. It is not always that they're not working, but that they are don't have the kind of income that they need. I ask that all these things in your name. Amen.
Amen. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state under God, one and indivisible. Thank you, Commissioner. Second item on the agenda is call for citizens' input and/or concerns, and I've got three that signed in. Mark Holtzapfel.
Howdy, my name is Mark Holtzapfel. I'm a professor of chemical engineering at Texas A&M University, and I'm here today as a private citizen. Historically, I've not been involved with politics. I'm simply too busy, but the 2020 election changed all that. There were too many anomalies. I spent hours and hours learning about this election and the many frauds that were committed. It turns out that I am not the only citizen concerned about election integrity. In a 2023 Rasmussen poll, 60% of Americans agreed with the statement that the 2020 election was affected by cheating. In the spirit of think globally, act locally, for over a year, I have been attending the Commissioner's Court to express my concerns about election integrity. Here I have met many other citizens who are also concerned about the topic. It is the most discussed topic in the Commissioner's Court. Four of these citizens, Walter Dougherty, Kathy Veens, Cindy Wiley, and myself, have been particularly vocal. Walter deserves special mention. He is a retired computer science lecturer from Texas A&M University, earning his PhD from Harvard. Currently, he serves as an expert witness in high-profile national court cases involving election integrity. His expert witness testimony appeared in a case in front of the U.S. Supreme Court. My understanding is that the new Trump administration will have a national commission on election integrity, and Walter is on the short list to be a member of that commission. In preparation for the 2024 election, I watched the logic and accuracy test of the Brazos County election equipment. While watching, Bob, who's one of the election officials, told me that Harris County has problems with election integrity, but Brazos County does not. As a proud citizen of Brazos County, I wish that were true, but sadly it is not. Prior to the 2024 election, the four of us met with local election officials to discuss our concerns about the integrity of Brazos County elections. The meeting was too short to sort out all the issues, so we documented our concerns in a 50-page report. This press release, which I have provided to you, summarizes our issues, which are as follows: the cleanliness of the voter rolls, the security of electronic devices, the security of the ballot boxes, lack of emergency procedures, how we account for ballots. We should hand count the prominent elections, such as federal elections, how we can properly audit our elections, and the need to audit the 2020 election undervote. and Walter will speak in more detail on that. On 2 occasions, we have requested a follow-up meeting to resolve these issues, but so far our requests have not been granted. Considering that we have newly elected commissioners on the court, we hope that our request will be granted in the future. We assume that the county wants to have exemplary voting system. To achieve this goal, I want to emphasize that we would like to be considered as partners, not as adversaries. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Cindy Wiley.
Good morning. Welcome to our new commissioners. We will be seeing lots of you guys all year as we continue to talk. We're happy everyone has attended this morning. Not so long ago, in 2016, we all heard about the election was stolen. Election fraud committed by foreigners hacking into these electronic voting machines and manipulating people's votes. And again, in 2020, election fraud due to domestic actors hacking into these electronic voting machines, voter registration roll manipulation, and massive fake ballot dumps. 8+ years of allegations of voter manipulation by various means, and we still use these machines. Are we using common sense? Evidence of voter manipulation is documented and readily available to see from the experts, including our local expert. Hart InterCivic developed the machines we use in Brazos, comprising of off-the-shelf components, some made in China. The Secretary of State approved, our state reps legislated, and our Commissioners Court approved and purchased. Again, I ask the question, are we applying common sense? It would be naive to think that fraud could be eliminated, that our votes would never be diluted or denied. For every fake vote, an authentic, eligible vote gets wiped out. That could be anyone in your family. One of the 30 duplicate voters having the same name, the same date of birth, and the same address that we found existing on current voter rolls was identified to have voted 2 times in the general 2020 election by using his 2 different voter unique identifier numbers. This may have already been discovered. Is it possible to get accurate election results? If final election numbers do not match, would that not indicate there is a serious problem? Dr. Doherty will explain. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Walter Doherty.
Good morning and welcome to the new commissioners. This is an update to the preliminary audit of the 2020 election, which I provided to Judge Peters, the election administration staff, other county employees in our meeting October 17th. And the update that I have to present today begins on page 6. So the problem with the results from the 2020 election is that the same software produced 3 different numbers, and that means it can't be accurate. So at the bottom of page 6, number 1, the official canvass said there were 537 undervotes for president. That is, ballots that did not choose any candidate for president. Number 2, the official cast vote record report, which lists all ballots, only had 285 ballots that said president undervote. And number 3, when I actually looked at the cast vote record report, there were 2,567 ballots that didn't list president, vice president at all. The first 2 numbers should match, but they do not. The third number should be 0. These discrepancies mean that the numbers are not consistent and therefore are not accurate. Since the same software produced different numbers, the software is not reliable. Next page. As described in the previous page, there are 2,567 ballots in the official cast vote record report which do not list president, vice president. Deeper investigation has determined that 2 pages of each of these ballots is missing from the cast vote record report, a total of 5,134 pages. The absentee ballot consisted of 4 pages printed front and back on 2 sheets of paper as follows. Pages 1 and 2 were sheet 1 front and back, and pages 3 and 4 were sheet 2 front and back, but there was no page 4, so it said this page left intentionally blank. A typical absentee ballot is on the following pages. So on page 8, you see page 1 that starts out with president and goes down to county attorney. On page 2 of the ballot, it goes from sheriff down to proposition number 4, and on page 3 of the ballot, it goes from proposition 5 down to Bryan Independent School District proposition A, and then page 4 was blank. Each ballot is assigned a unique 32 character. I'm on page 12 now. Each ballot is assigned a unique 32 character CVR ID, which applies to all 3 pages of the ballot. The 5,134 missing ballot pages have now been determined to be pages 1 and 2 of the 2,567 ballots in the official cast vote record report, which do not list president or vice president. Only page 3 of those ballots is present. Here's the complete list of 5,134 missing ballot pages and their cast vote record IDs. So when I first presented this in the October 17th meeting, Ms. Hancock said that the missing pages were there, they were just out of order. But I've now determined by looking at all 100,000 pages of the cast vote record report, they are indeed missing. So there are 5,134 ballot pages missing from the cast vote record report. Let me read my last paragraph. The 5,134 missing ballot pages must immediately be located and accounted for, since they were not included in the cast vote record report. And so I ask you to put on the agenda for next week to hire an independent CPA, or if you choose, a Republican CPA and a Democrat CPA to find the 5,134 missing ballot pages.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. That was the final citizen input. So we'll move on and consider and take action on agenda items 3 through 13. Number 3 is approval of the official public bond, Constable Precinct 2, Lampoke.
Move approval.
Oh, move for approval, sorry, Judge. And I got a second?
Second.
Okay, motion made, seconded, discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None motion carries. Number 4 is request for Sheriff's Administration for the following personnel changes with effective date January 18, 2025. This change will have no effect on the budget of the FY 2025 Sheriff's Administration.
Move for approval A and B.
Second.
Motion made, seconded, discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None motion carries. Number 5 is approval of FY 2025 Community Support Contract with Brazos Transit District.
Move for approval.
Second.
Motion made, seconded. And this is the, we talked about this back in October and put it in the budget when we moved above, I think it was 220,000 in population. It may have been 225. With the transit district, the 2 cities and the county now have to participate in the cost of the transit district. This is a third of the cost of that additional that had to be added in to allow for a match fund. So that's what this one is. And I think I've got a motion and a second. Any more discussion? All in favor say aye. Oh,
Judge, let me make a comment if I could. I've been ragging on these people for the last 4 years. I'm not against public transportation at all. I believe in public transportation. But when I see these big old buses running all over College Station with 1 or 2 people, I can't get excited about it. I mean, I think they could use their assets a lot better. I mean, they could use smaller buses that don't use so much fuel, or they could even give coupons for Uber rides. But when you see these buses running all over town with 1 or 2 people, it gives me pause. So
I mean,
That's
I've heard that question too, and I think one of the answers that I heard is that there are times that the buses are fuller and times that they're not, but they continue to go all day long. So
Yes,
you
sir.
will see times that there are not as many people on them. And I don't remember, but I know when they were looking at purchasing buses, the price of those larger buses weren't much different, I don't think, in that contract from what the smaller ones are. You know, I don't know the whole answer, but I see the same thing, but I've been told several times that the load of people changes from like that close to right at 8 o'clock and 5 o'clock rather than seeing them driving around in the daytime. But they continue to move around because there's people that still want to go, just not as many during the day, but
Yes,
early,
sir.
you know, at those 2 peak times is when they really see more.
Yes, sir. Okay.
Yeah, I
Thank
share Commissioner Brown's concern. Talking to the transit district, one of the members of the board, that was pretty much explained to me, is you have one vehicle that can handle the heavy loads, but it sure looks silly when 1 or 2 people are riding around. I've seen that and I've felt the same way. But it's the one vehicle that can do all things, constantly moving, versus a small one and a large one, or running 2 smaller ones later. But they're very, very easy to look at and scratch your head.
Well, if you ever see a full load, let me know. I'd like to take a picture.
Yeah, I don't know that I've seen a full load. I've just seen several on it. But I hear what you're saying.
Okay.
Is there a requirement to provide ridership reports to the county?
Can you speak into your mic?
They do.
You gotta be sure to speak into
Is
your.
there a requirement to provide ridership?
They can
report?
bring them in, they provide them to the board, but, and of course, the transit district is more than just Brazos County. It's got, I don't remember, 11, 12, 13 counties. We are now the only we are the urban county in it, and the remainder of the counties are all rural, so they're not required to participate in the cost because they're rural. They're still under the other rules. But I can have them come in and provide that ridership detail.
Yeah, I think that would be important to know what we're paying for.
Okay. I got a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None motion carries. Number 6 is approval of agreement 25-091, short-term detention juvenile offenders for Navarro County, for Brazos County Juvenile Department.
Move for approval.
Second.
Motion made, seconded. Discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None motion carries. Number 7 is tax refund application for the following.
Move for approval A and B.
Second.
Motion made, seconded. Discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None motion carries. Number 8 is Commissioners Court minutes for the following dates.
Move for approval A through D.
Second.
Motion made, seconded. Discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None motion carries. Number 9 is budget amendments, FY 24-25 budget amendments 13.01 through 13.02.
Judge, I move that we table this item, and let me tell you why. I understand that anything under $50,000 does not have to go out to public bid, and I respect that. But whoever signed off on this, we're giving a company in San Marcos the job to come and redo floors at the Brazos Center. And it just seems wrong to me that we should take Brazos County taxpayer money and send it to San Marcos when we could get a local company to do it, probably for a lot less, because when you figure this bid from this company in San Marcos, they're also charging for travel time and probably for some hotel time. And it just doesn't make sense to us that we should send this business out of our community when our community has plenty of people that would be able to do the same job.
So I think under purchasing rules, you're not allowed to say, well, we're going to try to stay local. I think you've got to open it up for bid, number one. But
Okay.
this is under buy board. It's not under a bid process. We've got some issues out there with the floor that need to be corrected. And I'm not sure what all of them are until they pull that floor up that's buckling out there.
Yes, sir.
And this is a company that's owned by a board, which means that you don't have to go out for bid. You actually can have them take a look at it and actually take a bid. That's part of purchasing, is that if they're on one of the state buy boards approved, then you're not having to go for bids. You can go ahead and get something done because they're on buy board. And so that's the reason that I'll let Nina speak.
Good morning. You're referencing Budget Amendment 13.01. This is not a contract. This is just a budget amendment. So if you need to table this, this is just tabling, moving the funds, not the work.
So there's no way we can get out of not having this San Marcos company come in here and do this?
Purchasing is not here, but since it's on buy board, they're able to, the department can choose them. Caitlin.
Well, that just doesn't seem very Christian to me.
So buy board, we use buy board a lot for our contracts. They do the vetting process. They do the bid out for us, along with a bunch of other cooperatives. So since we're part of buy board, we can just go to buy board. Normally, though, if it's over still $2,500, we ask for 3 quotes. But this company knows this floor. They've done work in the past at the Brazos Center. So they're aware of all the issues going on, from my understanding, with Joanna at the Brazos Center. So legally, we're good with with the buy board contract because they vetted it out already.
Yeah,
Well,
but
is there
our
not-
local, I'm sorry.
Yeah. Is there not a way to do a Buy Brazos program to incentivize local vendors for us to use them?
So all our bids normally go out to it, and local vendors have the opportunity, and we can go out for bid if that's what y'all are recommending to do. But I know that the issues are still happening, and there is somehow getting some water or something through the floor, and it is getting damaged. So I think Joanna was trying to get it through quicker.
I certainly understand the problems being out there, but I also understand the need to take tax dollars spent in Brazos County and put them back into Brazos County if that's possible.
Yeah, we try to meet with local vendors and try to get them to bid on our things, but again, if they're not the lowest or not the most qualified, depending on the process we go, then we can't give them it just because they're local.
So what's our option here?
But what if, the
So
option,
the contract hasn't been done yet. Again, this is
Okay.
just the budget amendment moving money, so we can do a PO or a contract, but I can get with Joanna after this and talk to her about it before going into contract.
And I don't think Joanna's here, but she has cleared several weeks for this to get completed. If not, then this will not be able to get restored or fixed until next fiscal year because of how far the Brazos Center has been booked. So she was able to move events closer to the end of January, early February to get this done. The issue is that the floors are in bad shape and there's some hazardous areas in this facility that needs to be completed.
Yeah, I do remember her telling me that this company
There's some
could meet
buckling.
the window that it has to be done, or it will take a lot longer. It'll be probably a year before it can be done.
And it might be worse shape.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I withdraw my motion, but in the future, please don't bring this to us like this. I mean, this is just wrong. We need to keep Brazos County taxpayer dollars in Brazos County. And if we have to go out for bids for everything, then that's what we need to do. If that's, I mean, you're the boss there, Mayor,
Well, no.
Judge. So,
No, we're all equal up here.
but you understand where I'm coming from, don't you?
And I understand where you're coming from, and some of the things, it's up to the departments depending on the price, and some things are already contracted out, and so we'll try our best to make it known.
Well, from what I understand, the buy bid is not, you call it the buy bid?
The person.
Buy board. The buy board is not my friend, just for the record. So, thank you.
Okay. And part of the buy board is that timeliness of it, because you don't have to spend weeks trying to get a bid on it, and then you get past the window that you've got to get it done in. And so while it may not be the most cost effective because you're not bidding it out, you may not get it done if you have to wait another year and then things get worse and then it costs you more money.
Yes, sir.
In that case, I move to approve the budget amendments 13.01 to 13.02.
Second.
Motion made, seconded. Further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None motion carries. Number 10 is personnel change status.
Move for approval.
Second.
Motion made, seconded. Discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None motion carries. We're going to skip down to number 14, which is an acknowledgement of the 24.
This is claims?
Did
Yeah,
I miss
number
claims?
11.
I'm sorry. Payment of claims, approval of claims 8207164 through 8207262 and 9203173 through 9203211.
Move to approve A and B.
Second.
Motion made, seconded. Discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None motion carries. Now we'll skip to number 14 is an acknowledgement of the 24-25 budget to actuals by fund as of January 2nd, 2025, and an acknowledgement of the 24-25 contingency budget to actuals as of January 2nd, 2025. Number 15 is acknowledgement of the budget planning calendar for FY 25-26. 16 is juvenile director's report on detention population. Linda.
Good morning, Judge and Commissioners. We have 29 juveniles in detention, 20 males, 9 females, and we have 41 on electronic monitor.
Thank you, Linda. 17 is sheriff's report on inmate population.
Good morning, Judge, Commissioners. 744 are in custody this morning, 633 men, 111 women. We have 34 on monitors.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sheriff. Number 18 is announcement of interest items and possible future agenda topics.
Just want to say a welcome to Commissioner Brown and Commissioner Nettles.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Update on Southgate. It is my understanding that as of this past weekend, they have finally finished the renovations in addition to all of the major repairs. The issue now is with it being so cold, there are still people who don't have enough heat. There are still people who need blankets and who need blankets and coats. And so if you're so inclined, I encourage you, please, as a citizen and a resident, if you can afford it, please be willing to donate to different habitat, to, the Red Kettles. I'm blanking on it.
Salvation Army.
Salvation Army. I had a brain glitch. The different organizations that are working to help what's happening in our community. We have a lot of folks who, again, affordable housing, utilities, all kinds of things, the COG. There are different organizations that support this community. Sometimes people assume that people are homeless or unhoused, as they say now, or deadbeats. That is not the case. In Brazos County, Chuck.
That was good the second time.
Did I get it? Anyway, in Brazos County, we have people who are working, they're the working poor, but the cost of housing, just the cost of living has gone up, and not everyone is fortunate enough to have a well-paying job. So I implore everyone, I know there are several folks in here who are constantly involved with those issues in our community, but there is a need. I am talking now with our emergency management. They're working with Red Cross, with Salvation Army and other organizations to possibly address later in the week, we're going to have even worse weather, whether or not we're going to provide or be a part of warming centers. The need is great, so I implore everyone to please be if you have an organization that you work with closely, or you just want to give of your time and or your money, I implore everyone who can to please help out. The need in Brazos County is great, and it is important as citizens when we reach out and help others. As people used to tell me, you reach back and you bring someone forward. So I implore you to please help out in Brazos County. We can't always assume that everything is wonderful for everyone, because it is not.
Thank you, Commissioner. So I had Bentley and I went down to Milliken last Sunday and had a meeting down there. It was about designating a location in Brazos County for a landfill, and then if one was wanted, if a company comes in and wants to purchase property somewhere else, they have to come back to the Commissioner's Court and ask for a variance. That way, the Commissioner's Court has got some say-so. If somebody wanted to put a landfill in Brazos County, without that in place, there's the court has got no say-so at all. But that said, what I told the folks down there, that I wanted to get it on the agenda as soon as possible, and my hope was that we might get it on like next week. What I've found is that you've got to run it in the newspaper 2 weeks, and then have a public hearing, and then you put it on the agenda. So I just want the folks out there at Milliken that I've talked with to know that it's going to take a little bit longer than I thought, but we're still moving forward. We're going to get it in the newspaper, and we'll move forward, have it on the agenda in the near future.
And let me just say, the question came up about whether or not all commissioners could attend those kinds of meetings. We're bound by what is called the walking quorum when there are more than 3, and Bruce maybe can address this in a more legalese perspective, but sometimes all of us can't be in the room at the same time. So since Milliken was Precinct 1, Commissioner Bentley and the judge were there, I had wanted to attend, but because of the walking quorum, where you can't, Bruce, you want to address it in a more legalese perspective?
No, ma'am. I was going to say there will be a public hearing meeting that all the citizens can appear at, all of y'all can appear at, and everybody can participate and have an opportunity to testify at that
But
hearing.
there are certain meetings where
Yeah, this was not noticed as a public meeting, so if more than 2 of the court had arrived, I would have had to ask somebody to leave.
Right, so we can't always, yeah, right. And so we have to be extremely careful about how many of us show up at certain events. And so understand that we absolutely want to be involved in anything of this magnitude, but there are times when we have to be like the rest of y'all. We have to watch it streaming, or we have to just read it in the newspaper. But we do care. We will, as the judge said, at some point we'll have to make a decision on the issue that he addressed. But in terms of that informational meeting, more than 2 of us could not be there.
Okay.
I just want
Thank
to
you.
thank the judge for having that meeting out at the town hall meeting out at Milliken. They had a great turnout. And it's really a great opportunity to be, instead of having the state folks decide whether we have a landfill in Brazos County, commissioners of TCEQ have no tie to our county. This would allow us to put it in front of our commissioners who are elected by y'all to make that decision. Thank you, Judge.
Okay. Thank you, Commissioner. We're going to move back up to number 12 and convene an executive session pursuant to the following. A is Texas Government Code 551.072 to deliberate the purchase, exchange, lease, or value of real property, and then B is Texas Government Code 551.074 to discuss the appointment, employment, evaluation, reassignment, and duties of county personnel. And I think we're going to take B first, and I'll need, of course, all the commissioners and Aubrey and attorneys, chief of staff, personnel, and I think this one probably with sheriff and chief. I don't think of anybody else that probably needs to be there. The time is 10:34. We're coming back out of executive session. It's 10:57. There's no action to be taken. Next item is to adjourn. Thank y'all.
Thank you.